Today, we're honored to hear from Mayor Billy Hewes with the City of Gulfport. Mayor Hewes was elected in June of 2013 and re-elected for a second term again this year. He really needs no further introduction amongst this crowd.
Blah, blah, blah.
I'm stopping.
Okay.
So here you go, Mayor Billy Hewes.
Thank you, Nikki. How about us here for the chamber? She's provided great leadership in a real trying year, and of course, with Johnny Olson coming on, the reign of terror is about to ensue. So we'll get through it, but great leadership. Thank you, and thanks, Tracy. Y'all see we're very busy as a city. It's inappropriate for y'all to haze the speaker before he gets here. I think I look quite festive. Paula said I'm a bit tacky, and I've heard some of the other adjectives y'all have mentioned. So Merry Christmas just the same. A bunch of Scrooges. It is really great to be here, isn't it? Gosh. You know, last year we had to sit through a bunch of Zoom meetings and videos, and good gosh almighty, so it really is good. So we're going to watch this other variant that's coming through. But the thing about it, we've had a lot of practice now. We know how to work through things. I see Lee Bond here and his partner, and your frenemy, Kent Nico, is that what it is? The frenemies. And but they really provided a great service to our community throughout COVID, and I want to spend a whole lot of time talking about that. But it is important about these partnerships and how we do collaborate and not just find our way through things, but actually sometimes set the standard and set the pace. And I think Gulfport's always been about that. So a few years ago, you know, this is a time when we celebrate and come together with families. And a few years ago, you know, my brother Michael, he's got 3 sons and they're growing up, but he told me one of my favorite Christmas stories about his son Rush. And Rush was just kind of figuring out stuff, and it was about the Christmas season, and he understood about all the lights and the festival things going on, and Santa Claus. But Michael wanted to instill upon him the real reason, the real meaning of Christmas. And he sat him down and he said, "Son, I know you get all this, but let's talk about the big man." He said, "You know what I'm talking about, right?" He said, "Yeah, Uncle Billy." And if you knew Rush, you'll understand. So we're looking back a little bit, but we're coming off an election, but we're really about moving forward always. And coming off of that story, Paul and I have had a new love come into our life. There we go. And so this is our grandson, and he has been some kind of remarkable, but he is getting to the point where he's inquisitive, and he's asking a whole lot of questions. And he came to me, and we're talking and going through stuff, and he's just like a sponge, but he gives a lot back. And he said, "Grandpapa, what about poo?" I said, "Well, that's nothing more appropriate than to come from John Payton's son, that question." But I said, how am I going to talk to him about this? So I said, do my best as a grandfather to explain to him about one of the most basic things. And then he pauses and he says, "Okay, what about Tigger?" I said, "Okay, all right." But that brings us to perspective. How we view things, how we take things into account, and how we understand what's going on. And COVID-19 presented a lot of opportunity, a lot of challenges. And like many things, it's how we address it, how we choose to deal with things that come our way. And when I came in, talk about looking back, when I came in as mayor, we were operating in silos. And Chicken Little was in the building. The sky was always falling. Everything's a crisis. Well, in my world, nothing's a crisis or nothing's that we can't handle. We've been through about everything that Mother Nature can throw at us, and God gets us through, and together we come out better, right? Well, we figured COVID, we didn't know how bad it was going to be. And as elected officials, the council, me as mayor, and other mayors around this state, we had to rely on a lot of information. But the fact of the matter is we were making unprecedented decisions about a lot of concerns and problems that were affecting us personally. We all had somebody affected. Most of us in the room probably had the disease. We all had people we loved die. It was tough. As a mayor, I had to figure out how do we keep our businesses thriving, but at the same time protecting the public. Where do you cross the line? Where is the line? And it kept moving. So again, our hospital administrators, our physicians really that I relied upon to inform me as far as what decisions we were going to make collectively. And we got through it, and y'all gave us great feedback as well through this resilience and adapting your business models just to try to survive, right? but we did it. And if it comes at us again, I think we're going to be better prepared. But that's a matter of perspective, how you choose to look at it. And so that's where we were. Again, part of it is just about communicating, figuring out how far we go, how serious this thing was. And at a point, we were getting overrun, particularly our hospitals and their ability to keep people alive. And so you had these partnerships everywhere. And it's one of the most giving things, you know, that I talk about in hurricanes. We see the worst of Mother Nature, but the best of humanity. This is that same kind of situation, and people really went out of their ways to make a difference and try to get the education out and be selfless about how you protect yourself and protect others. But there were unprecedented things we had to do. So our healthcare workers, our heroes, the ones who really made the difference, who stood in there, who exposed themselves to this contagion, we couldn't do enough to show them our thanks, but we tried to do some things to bring food in our restaurants. Gosh, they were great. All of y'all, you know, go, let's patronize, let's eat out as much as we can, buy local, be local, because they gave of themselves as well as their inventory and did a lot of cooking to our hospitals and our healthcare workers on the front line. And then Zeta came. You know, good Lord, what else do we need? We had not had a hurricane for a while of any significance, and a lot of folks didn't take this seriously, but it turned out to be a Cat 3. What happened is Mother Nature had not sent, you know, it's basically God's hedge trimming service. And we had more debris on the ground after Zeta, if you'll recall. It didn't have much in Ida. Now, Ida wasn't as much of a direct hit either, but we had more than we expected. And so we had a lot of challenges. And you never want to be on a first-name basis with Jim Cantori.
Rolling.
So believe it or not, once again, another threat for the Gulf Coast with another hurricane. This will be our 8th for the Gulf Coast this year.
Well,
Yeah.
You know you're not welcome. Let's go.
Are you kidding? I'm in the middle of a broadcast here.
Dude,
Not in Gulfport.
I told you not to come back. This is what happens when you don't follow
You gotta be
instructions.
kidding.
No, man. Kidding.
Oh,
You're the
I
magnet, baby.
I
Gotta
can't
go.
believe this. No cuffs? I was kind of hoping she would cuff me. Sorry.
Did you get it?
I was hoping she would cuff me. No, yeah. So we try to have a little fun in the process. As bad as it gets, you know, there's always a silver lining or something to laugh at yourself or have fun. So he played along, and we become friends, but I told him, come back in the wintertime. We don't want to see you in the summer. I'm going to get to our, again, Zeta stuff. So, you know, pretty tough to look back sometime. But again, it puts things in perspective because we're looking good right now. And again, it's about responding. And we are truly blessed in this city with a lot of resilience and a lot of character. But we also know how to give back, how to pay it forward, because we would not be in the condition we are without the grace of God and without the charity of our fellow man. So we understand the need when other people have this same deal, and we have had that on the job training, that we need to pay it forward. And so when Ida hit South Louisiana, it was bad. It was bad. And they're so remote, most of those areas, that it takes a lot longer for them to get their power restored and their services than what we do. And after Zeta, it took us, you know, a week or two to get it restored. And y'all know after 2 or 3 days, those who haven't provisioned or planned appropriately, they start to panic, right? And so we went down there, and it was a great team effort. Sheriff Peterson has this remarkable cooking team, and the county led the charge and we went down there. Pat, you were with us and helping. You're always in the middle of that too, and starting a collection drive. And to our fire departments across this coast, every mayor, you know, jumped on board. Every council person is but our community. Again, the outpouring of what you did through your businesses and individually dropping off these supplies, knowing they were needed, was very crucial to what we do. And we really collected a lot. We continue to actually reach out, asking them what the needs are now. And about a month ago, they said, okay, we're kind of getting things a little normal, but we need our kids back. So we need, a lot of these families down in these really remote areas, they lost everything, but their families were safe. But the schools, you know, all their kids' supplies, it was gone. They were ruined. And so they said, we need school supplies. So, and they probably some needs that need to continue, and we'll try to put that out when we find out and get more from them, but we're always glad to go. So, City Council, we went through an election year. Sometimes the more things change, the more they stay the same, but Gulfport likes the leadership that we had. So we had a little bit of change, but the city council and our council members, if you're here, will you stand up, please? Do a remarkable job. All right, here we go. We got 4 of them. I could not have better teammates. Gulfport has moved forward because of their leadership. The mayor is not an autonomous dictatorship as much as I would like it to be, but the fact of the matter is we have to collaborate, and they are really good partners. 3rd term. Why in the world did I run again? Well, that's a question that this lady asks all the time. She used to look at me like that, but she's got a new man in her life. But folks, the First Lady of Gulfport, she does some remarkable things, allowing me to do what I do and serve you. But he's the reason that we all do what we do to make our community better, right? Not just him, but our next generation and our kids. And so that's the reason to do it. And we've got a lot going on and the opportunity here. But I've told y'all a number of times when I first got elected to mayor, people said it's the worst and best job in America, being mayor. There's a lot of truth to that, but I really believe it has to do with the character and the type of community you get to represent. So in that light, it's the best freaking job in America. But it is 24/7 and then some, but I'm proud to be here. And so it was kind of became a no-brainer. But let's kind of roll where we started, where we are now, kind of a look back, look forward. When I came into office 8 years ago, Centennial Plaza was still a blighted wasteland. We had been trying previous administrations, and it's not credit on me, it's just the timing of everything that came together, but we had a developer that wanted to do something, saw how special Centennial Plaza, the property, could be, and as we move forward, it's becoming more of an event center. It's got 2 hotels on it. It was transformed into something truly, truly remarkable that people are still discovering. And again, that I had no idea moment when people get here. They see all that we have to offer and how busy we are, what's going on. Always room for improvement, right? But it is really a neat place to go, and we still haven't realized its potential as far as what it can be. And as they were coming online, what happened? Recession hit, hurricane hit, COVID hit. I mean, they were snake bit, but they're still persevering and moving forward with that property and getting it where families and friends. And this year, because Mother Nature left us alone, they were booked out all summer. And they're trying to program a lot of things. The circus just came through. So it's just a different look, and having cruised at Central there is pretty cool too. Our Sportsplex, it continues to grow. When I came, we had just started a $12 million expansion out there of the Sportsplex, and it is in this region probably the go-to Sportsplex in what I'm going to call the Gulf South. There's a lot of competitors, but that place is jammed up every single day, particularly the weekends. I won't say during the season, because right now we got this year-round climate and there's always something going out there. But it has about a $20 million economic impact to our community every single year. And that is huge, with the people coming in for tournament after tournament after tournament, staying in hotels, eating at the restaurants, visiting the area. And again, this is kind of what it's all about too, providing opportunity for locals. And if we bring visitors in, great. So it's kind of a good showcase spot for us. Cruising the Coast, 25th year, Woody Bailey and his crew. You talk about this as a destination market. This is the #1 car show year in, year out. You got to be proud of that as far as what it does, bringing 10, 20, 30,000 people in a week's time to this area to spend money, to have a good time, to recreate and enjoy what we have all the time. You know, we live where people vacation, which is kind of cool. They had over 9,000 cars registered, again, a record. And View the Cruise, that's kind of become Gulfport's own. That's the weekend we kick off cruising. And Laurie Toops is really great with a lot of programming in this city, but View the Cruise has become something that, with concerts and just street vendors and fairs and all that, it's a big time. It's become something that we all look forward to. Great music venue. Did y'all see Amanda Shaw? She's from Louisiana. That girl can cook. She is some kind of good. There's Bucky. Little local talent. Rockin' Doopsy. And they've come back, and they're probably going to be our regular standards for these concerts. And then the aquarium. So Rusty Walker and Ricky Dombrowski and I got up on top of the blown-out library about 9 years ago and looked over that blighted property where the First Baptist Church and other businesses used to be, about 9 acres, and said, what can we do? And we knew that we missed having an aquarium. We knew that there had been a lot of competition for a new aquarium somewhere on the coast between different cities, and it never came to pass. And let's say, well, let's get on a mission and do something on Mississippi's front yard. And so we did. And it was a 7-year lift, very difficult, but it is probably the biggest and most successful public-private philanthropic partnership that this state has ever seen. It is a landmark property, but we got, it grew from the city putting up most of the money, but the state came through, Governor Bryant and Governor Eves in particular, the legislature came through, and then the private sector came through as well. And so you're looking at about a $100 million facility right in Gulfport. And it's about making a difference, elevating our game. Most folks who come in here, David Hardy, who was a designer on this, they come in and they say, this is in Mississippi? I had no idea. But one reason we did it is not just because we missed having an aquarium, but we did the evaluation, just like you do on your businesses of this community, what's missing. We're a great place, year-round climate, not much traffic issues, good opportunity, cost of living's great, but it's a great place for adults to come and play. But what are we doing for families? Yeah, we got a beach. Well, we do have a beach. And we got the Lynn Meadows Discovery Center is probably one of the top draws in the state, maybe in the nation, for children's museums, but we didn't have something to fill that niche. And the aquarium, we figured, would be the one. And it has been met with rousing success and rave reviews. And we continue to find a way through with Kurt Allen, who's providing great leadership. Kurt, we're going to try to get some penguins out there on a regular basis, are we not? Oh, all right, glad to hear it. So that's one of the coming attractions. But this is the finish. Hey, this is my talk. Oh, he's going to hit you up for money is what he's saying. So that philanthropic partnership, it continues. How's that? Did I say it right? Okay, thank you. All right. But yeah, this is the finished product, and it is really has changed our profile and in so many ways. So we're just proud of the partnership that it took to get that to the point. Gulf Blue, have you heard us talking about the blue economy? If you haven't, you need to get engaged and find out what it's all about. I'm going to talk a little bit about it here, but this is about making the most of our marine environment, our waterfront that many communities would kill for. There are two great institutions in America, Scripps on one coast and Woods Hole on another, that are research institutions for marine. There's not one on the Gulf. We're about to have it. And Gulf Blue, the blue economy, is something that's being led by a really good conglomeration with Southern Miss. Y'all saw a building going up down on the harbor in the port proper. I told Secretary Gina Raimondo when she came down, it was a center for Gulf Coast Center for Awesomeness, but it's a Roger Wicker Center, and it's going to be the headquarters for NOAA and Naval Oceanographic, and they are going to bring in a lot of high-profile jobs.
The old phrase, we're better together, really sums up what we on the Gulf Coast have come to understand and are promoting. And Gulf Blue really sends a message about our connection with the marine resources here, but also how there is a clearinghouse for folks to come together and really have an impact and get the support that one would hope to have from a community to push that brand forward and make sure that it's successful and recognized.
We've got this great collaborative effort of key stakeholders, of local elected officials, of business and community leaders, and research universities, particularly USM. And you've really got a great environment to be able to try and be successful in things like the emerging economy and Gulf Blue.
Being able to partner with the University of Southern Mississippi, to be able to use the Mississippi Gulf Coast to deploy uncrewed systems, test and validate the systems, build a workforce through USM's Tier 1 certification program to be able to understand how to deploy them and retrieve them, how to make sure that the data that's being collected is correct, and all of that tying into the blue economy and how the Gulf Blue initiative is really going to support not only Navy and NOAA, the government agencies, but also USM in academia and also new innovations and new companies that are moving to the Gulf Coast.
At See Ahead, we are thrilled to support USM's leadership in the blue economy future. We believe that the Gulf Coast has an important role to play in the development of innovations related to the ocean, and that the creation of the Gulf Blue brand will support the competitiveness of this effort globally.
Some milestones that the USM Research Foundation, I think, will be looking to meet within the next few years is to have this building fully occupied, and then to see folks graduate from this building out into our community. They lease commercial office space, they build buildings, they hire employees, they begin to buy goods and services from providers in the community.
I think the brand Gulf Blue does a lot of great things. I think it's simple, it's clear. It helps us articulate that in a way that is much faster than other ways would be. It's not just a name that helps us communicate. It's a way for us to rally people behind the notion of the blue economy in general in the Gulf Coast.
All right, so that kind of gives you an idea, but what happens, and Jim Simpson and I, when we were in the legislature, we're involved in a lot of large-scale economic development projects. And while this isn't on the scale of an auto manufacturing plant, in its own right, it kind of is, because that's where we put our investment, our money, our incentives, and then other groups see, again, what this community has to offer, the cost of living, et cetera. But they want to be where the action is, where the research is taking place. And so we have folks come through, and it takes a big conglomeration. But I'm going to give you a stat, if I can get this Ocean Aero. They moved from San Diego, from the West Coast, here because of this facility. And these jobs are going to be high-paying jobs, but they're going to help make this that mecca of innovation and of research and development. It's going to be right here in Gulfport. And there's going to be a need. There's going to be more opportunity. It's going to drive more demands for excellence in education. And fortunately, we're already set for that. And we're going to continue to build on it. It's going to drive more demand for housing, downtown, urban development, as well as in our community. And we've got hundreds of houses coming online now. It couldn't be at a better time. So it's happening. But these jobs are going to start coming in. Folks like Ocean Aero comes, well, they talk to other folks like Ocean Aero and tell them about how easy it is to do business here. And they're going to come as well and start bringing more and more innovation to our port. And John's ready, our port director. He's ready to do it and talking to folks on a regular basis for that. And this is that facility I was telling you about. So that just kind of gives you an idea, and when they do start doing tours, take advantage of it. So we've got a team that is always at work. These are some stats that I think everybody I find amazing as far as how busy our city is and how busy the people who you see on the streets, and sometimes you never see them. There are unsung heroes, but they're at it all the time about how much interaction we have. And I think it speaks to that quality of life we enjoy. This Before the Bullet initiative, you're going to be hearing more about that. This is designed to combat and address youth violence in our community, and it's built off some other national models, but you're going to be hearing more of that. But it's something that I think as you see the impact that we hope that it has, that you'll be very proud that Gulfport has taken initiative in this area as well, addressing our youth who are troubled and challenged and sometimes disruptive in our community. It's going to be very important, very impactful. Yeah, James Meredith come down. That's kind of where we unveiled that, but he came down and wanted to talk about some things, but it was really remarkable. He just showed up at City Hall's front steps one day and started chatting with Leonard Papania, and next thing we knew, we had a forum for him. So it was really remarkable to get some insights from this icon. And again, it comes down to service, every bit of it. Fire response again. Y'all look at these stats, how many calls we get. Our team is first on the scene, whether it's a fire, whether it's a medical call. It's just really remarkable what they do. We have a new chief, Billy Kelly, who's continuing on the leadership that was established by Mike Byerstedt. And these men and women, you don't have to ask them twice. And y'all know about Class 2 protection. We're the only city in Mississippi that's got that level of fire protection, which is remarkable from just the stability that they provide, the responsiveness they do, but also the impact on insurance rates. It makes a difference and helps us, again, with your bottom line pocket. Now this is gonna, y'all take a real close look at these stats. I'm not gonna read them all to you. This is in 1 year. This isn't over the last 8 years. This is 1 year. You think we're not busy? Y'all are busy, we are too. But that's our job, to get out there and make things work. And I talked to our public works folks. I said they have the least sexy job in the world. But when people come to town, whether you're living here or visiting, that faucet's got to come on. That commode's got to flush. Things have to work, and they do a really good job. But again, we're always going to get a call, say, hey, this water main's leaking, my thing isn't, I've got a clog, whatever. Y'all may not know, we have this app that continues to be improved, but it's been out for a while. But if you, want to check your city services, download the app and, make the most of it, trying to use it. If you've got some adjustments or questions. If you want to report, a pothole or another problem, you can take a picture of it and send it in. And our meter readers. Rusty Walker started talking about 8 years ago. He said, we got a problem coming. Better get ready. The life cycle on our meters were starting to fail, and they failed at a faster rate. If y'all remember 2 years ago, it wasn't a happy place to be when it comes to getting your meter read and your water bill. There's a little anomaly. Well, we've digitized it and brought it up, and Ryan Merrill has kind of taken over that entire department, and I think they're exceptionally responsive. But the good thing is our meters, we don't have to drive by every time and read them and go check them in your yard. We can do them, having them report digitally for the most part. So it makes it more efficient and more accurate as far as your water use and what your charges are. 311, here's another busy group. This is 2020. And then what's been happening. So a lot of increase. And I think that's reflective on people starting to get out, get active again. But again, a lot of more folks are moving into our area. In the census, they're about to do redistricting. In the census, there are very few areas of Mississippi that grew, but this coast did, and Gulfport is no exception. And if you're not sure about anything I gave to you, just call Leonard. And in urban development, this is kind of one of our measuring sticks too. Greg Petrangelo is leading that department. Just talking about where things are happening, new homes, commercial buildings, activities. We had a bit of a lull, but even with COVID, we were pretty doggone busy. People still coming, and I guess building through, getting ready for when we come out of that thing. You saw a lot of the ribbon cuttings that Nikki had in her deal. So there's, again, a lot of folks seeing opportunity here and providing to that diversity of offerings that Gulfport offers and enjoys. This is good news. My dad was more happy about Olive Garden coming back than anything else he had heard. It's all about food. You've been to Sully's. They're coming, hopefully by the end of this year, early next year, they'll be opening up there where the old Cafe Climb used to be. Boozer's was so successful, they've built up. They've gone, Nazati's. We've got some others. That Pass Road Corridor and Highway 605 have really just grown. But Pass Road is I'm very pleased with some of the development because it's been neglected for so long. It didn't get that way overnight. We're not going to fix it overnight. But there are needs there, and we're trying to address those. And our Department of Leisure Services, again, one of the most taken for granted groups, but most impactful because we spend a lot of money, a lot of extra money, your money, on making this place attractive. And they are out there all the time. Gus Wesson has got a great team, just coming out doing a lot of beautification. And it's those little things that make the difference. But they put on our senior services. Last year we couldn't do the regular Easter egg hunt. Couldn't have kids running around touching a bunch of eggs, so we did a drive-through, and it looked like it was a pretty good success. And just doing what we can within the confines that are allowed. Hopefully, we were able to breathe a little easier now. And this is, again, the aquarium being a great place to have a lot of events, particularly with kids. Daddy-daughter bike ride, youth football. The Tree City designation, I think, is important. I think it sends a good message, too, about our environmental consciousness. And we just had our youth council. I was talking to Rick Carter, and again, Rick, thank y'all for y'all sponsorship of this and your whole team. Y'all do a great job. We were talking about this. I love when we get our youth involved, and the Municipal League encourages cities to have a youth council. So we've had ours in place for quite some time, and we have more applicants than we can accommodate in each class. But I was talking to them Monday night, this new group, and just talking about things, asking them to introduce themselves, doing your regular icebreakers. But I said, how many of y'all have been to Harbor Lights? Out of about 30 kids, maybe 5 hands went up. I'm thinking, golly. It is a remarkable. I'm going to talk about Harbor Lights in a minute. But that's what happens a lot of time. We're talking about educating our community, being ambassadors, but we don't take advantage. We don't slow down and take advantage and enjoy the things that we probably should. I've had people say, have you seen Harbor Lights? Yeah, I drove by it. Unless you've been in it, you hadn't seen it. And that's what we got to tell people. But it's the same thing like Ship Island. A lot of us in this room have never been to Ship Island. And it is a gem. It is one of those treasures as well. So there's some things that we need to make sure that we're availing ourselves of by having the privilege of living down here in this area. But these kids are excited, and they're going to do some great service work. And so next Thursday, they're all doing a service project for a stuffing, what are those things? Stockings, yeah, for a senior center. And afterwards, we're going to take them all to Harbor Lights. So it's going to be great. So what's coming? All right, this is another one. We have talked for a long time and been seeking funding for a great deal of time. And again, this is where some partnerships come through. There we go. With the federal government, the county government, and the city. And we're about to connect. You should see construction start pretty soon. We're about to connect the aquarium with the aquarium property with the promenade across into Jones Park. That is going to be transformational. And this is important on a daily basis. But on Harbor Lights, for example, not last year since we didn't have it, 2 years ago, you know how many people came to Harbor Lights in a month? Over 70,000. And they're usually coming at night. Well, they are coming at night, and they got to cross the highway. So this is a safety component as well as an aesthetic and just good functioning. It'll accommodate bike, tram, and pedestrian. So this will give you an idea. Just want to kind of roll through it. I know we're running up on 9 o'clock, so I'll try to roll through these pretty quick. But we got a lot to talk about, y'all. This could be a concept for a penguin exhibit, and we already have the penguins, if you've seen them, but we need to get those where folks can see them around the clock all the time, so that's a goal. Gulfport Town Center. This is something that, again, you have to work on things for years before they come to reality. But at the corner of Highway 49 and Highway 90 is a plot of land. It used to be where the old Gulf National Bank and used to be on that corner. But talking about a development that is going to be a multi-million-dollar development that is designed and geared to meet that demand that's coming. People wanting to live closer to downtown in a walkable community. And we've seen them work in other cities, but it's what's called a mixed-use development. So it has apartments, it has retail. And hopefully it'll have a rooftop bar and restaurant. But this is the kind of concept we're talking about. And what I mentioned about changing the profile, the landscape the skyline of Gulfport like we did with the aquarium. This is the next step in our evolution, and I think it is well timed, and hopefully we will get some public-private partnership money from the legislature and help the developers get this moving forward. But it can be a very, really a catalyst for our economy. These are all concepts. Job Corps. Many of y'all may not have been out there, but in the vicinity of the CB base over in Ward 1, we've had a Job Corps that is functionally obsolete, and we've gone through years of getting federal funds to do it, and a while back we got about $30 million to put into it. The design is complete. We'll be starting construction on really remarkable campus. I'm supposed to give you a fly-through. It might not. Nope. Our interconnecting Gulfport. How many of y'all tried to get anywhere on Black Friday in the I-1049 corridor? Oh my gosh. It was some kind of terrible traffic, backed up forever. It's a safety issue. It is a development issue, but more importantly, it is a connection issue between north and south portions of the interstate, where on the north side you've got the Sportsplex and the development of Daniel Boulevard and Anchor Plaza, and then on the south side you've got the Outlet Mall and Home Depot, and no way to get out except one exit. It is a terrible bottleneck, and it can be a safety issue as well. We were given a bill grant project authorization a few years back. These things take a long time, from negotiating with the railroads who go in there, dealing with environmental issues, making sure that we're not making flooding any worse than it exists, or that we're not exacerbating, but actually mitigating any conditions or concerns that our communities may have. And so this is something that is very, very important for our city as we continue to grow, to make sure we can accommodate folks and let folks make it easy to get in and get out in our larger community. But this is in that Turkey Creek watershed, and it's going to be pretty remarkable. And then I mentioned Turkey Creek. For over 20, 30 years, they've talked about how to help reduce the flooding in Turkey Creek. Part of it is desnagging. Part of it is water pumps. The council made the commitment along with Kent Jones. Where are you, Kent? Stand up, man. Kent and I finished Harrison Central together, and he's done much better than I have. But he has been the best partner we could have. So proud of you, man, and thank you so much for working with us there. And so, they got on board. We needed help with the down payment to the Corps of Engineers to move this forward once and for all, and I think it's going to be very impactful. And roadways and infrastructure, that is the theme of the day, not just during an election year. Of course, you hear more about it during an election year, but we're always got road work to be done. We're that large that there's always going to be something. But your city council took these MIMA, that's that internet sales tax monies that we got a couple of years ago. They're dedicating that to road improvements and new road construction in the city, about $17 million. So it's going to be very impactful, and you'll see a lot of work being done over the next few years on that. Some reminders. Tomorrow we got our Sugar Plum Parade. We couldn't do it last year, so it's back. Christmas on the Bayou. That's going to be second Saturday of December, so that's going to be really awesome. And if the weather cooperates, which it usually does, you can pick any part along Bayou Bernard, and it's cool to see. It's a really good time. The marathon is back again. These folks are so delighted to be here, and that has been a really good success. Thousands of people come on Saturday and Sunday. I think it's next weekend. So come out and cheer them on or participate. It's really, really a neat thing for us to have this marathon between the bridges. And Harbor Lights. Okay, unqualified success. Last year, everybody was bummed because it wasn't just because of COVID. That was part of it. But the storms, when Zeta came through, it had wrecked and racked that. It was a late season storm. We have to start putting this stuff up in mid-October. And it was damaged to the point that we could not put the show on. And so people, it's number one in Mississippi, a number of years running. It's in the top 10 Christmas displays in America. something to be really proud of and talk to folks about. But it's back, and it's back big. After 2 weekends, we are ahead 10,000 people over 2 years ago already. And 2 years ago, we had over 70,000, like I said. So this is another economic development opportunity. We asked ourselves, how do we extend the season, the tourism season, beyond Cruising the Coast? Cruising the Coast got it to October. What do we do beyond that? This is the thing. This is it. And so it really is remarkable, and it also underscores how bad we all want to get out and relive and redo these traditions that we enjoy. So one of the prettiest places in the world any day, but during the holiday season.
See Santa? Let's go sit on his lap and tell him what we want for Christmas.
Tell me your wish list.
Santa. Really, Billy?
Well, Billy, have you been a good boy this year?
Well, of course I have, Santa.
I heard you've been on a naughty boy list.
That was only in Biloxi.
Oh, well then, okay, tell me your wish list.
Okay, well, I wish for world peace, a COVID-free community, unanimous votes by the council,
Billy.
a recording contract, and on-time pizza delivery.
Billy, get out of there.
Gotta go.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
All right, so thank y'all so much for living and making this city a great place to live, work, and play. God bless everybody. Merry Christmas, and thank you for helping us be as successful as we are. Take care.